It is difficult for many parents to believe that their child would lie, and when it occurs, parents are shocked. The parent feels compelled to force the child to own up to this dirty deed and to vow that they will never do it again, but they will. According to the book Nurture Shock, the authors examined laboratory research that proved it is normal for children to lie for various reasons. They also determined that children will eventually grow out of it, unless, however, the child has learned that lying gives her successful strategies for handling difficult situations. Children also learn to keep lying because we adults teach them how to do it. Here are 4 ways that we reinforce our children's motivations to lie. So one of the first things that we have to understand is children do it oftentimes because of the environment. Well, a mom once motivated her little girl, who was still in diapers, that when she woke up with a dry diaper, she was such a sweetheart. Mommy loved her. She got all kinds of prizes. She got special treatment and everything. Well, one day, Mom had her little girl come downstairs, and she looked at her diaper and thought, looks kind of funny the way it's not fitting just right, but she paid no attention to it. A couple hours later, Mom was up in the little girl's room cleaning and found the wet diaper under the crib. So if we examine that, the first thing that children do to lie is to get our approval. So if we examine what the mother was doing with her little girl, she was motivating her through rewards and the gush of mommy in the morning saying, you're such a good girl. Well, children want that so much. They crave to have the primary caregiver to really love them and give them encouragement and the rewards. So children will begin to go, well, this is really important, and mommy and daddy really want this, so maybe I need to learn how to take care of this. So also, we've seen that from the other side with rewards from school. If you're rewarded for your schoolwork and you get all kinds of special stuff, it's amazing what will happen. So as I said earlier, children are automatically wired to lie. And parents are shocked to consider if my child would actually lie. But it happens ordinarily, and experts tell us that around the age of 5 or 6 or 7, they eventually start to fall out of it unless they've discovered that they can gain something from doing it. Here's another thing that motivates children to lie. It's protection from punishment. So when a child is punished, the automatic response from the human being is to protect myself, and defense systems begin to go up. So if the child is constantly being punished for behaviors or things, the child will eventually learn to hide and to cheat and to disguise things. For example, a child who is constantly punished because of his or her grades will eventually potentially learn to hide their grades from the parents. Because they know if I get home and I show my report card, I know bad stuff's coming. I'll do whatever I can. We've heard the stories of children actually going to the measures of changing grades on report cards or hiding homework assignments. The parents' influence has more power than they actually realize. So punishment doesn't do anybody any good. All it does is teach children to hide, to go into hiding, and to keep things from coming to the surface for the parents. The third thing that's important about motivating children about lying is an interesting one, and it's actually forcing them to be nice to people they don't like, right? How many times, okay, how many families out there, how many do you have a relative who we love, they're just special, but perhaps they smell? And an older relative, and how many times have you seen the situation where the parent says, honey, go kiss grandma right now. Do you hear me? And so the child is being trained to that their inner feeling, their sense is not as important. And I have to do things, and I have to hide the way I truly feel. Now, you know, it brings up a difficult issue because we want our children to be kind to all the relatives. But again, what are we teaching our children by forcing them to do that? To be with someone they don't like or they have difficulty being with. The fourth and final one is the examples that we set for our children as adults. For example, I saw the situation. A man is at the counter at a miniature golf course, and he has his little son with him, and he's paying for him and his son, and he gives the money up, and he buys the tickets, and the man behind the booth says, how old is your son, sir? And when he reveals his age, he says, you know what, he looks a lot younger. Why didn't you just tell me he was a younger age? You would have saved a lot of money. It doesn't matter to me. I just work here. The father, interestingly, said, it matters to him. It matters to me. So sometimes we do those kinds of things. How about your mother-in-law has called for the third time in one day, and your son answers it, and you say, tell grandma I'm not here. So what kind of messages are we sending to our children when we ask them to do that? You know, there's a couple of other things that happen here is children are building relationships with their peers. And if they suddenly discover that they can create a lie to create a relationship, as you'll see in my book, Love, Limits, and Lessons, I write about the whole aspect that children learn based on what pays them back. So what kind of things can I do to get better friendship, or to create sides, and to create things that I want to have, whether it's the children I want to be with or children I want to push away. I can do it all through lying. And here's the problem. If it's allowed to continue, it becomes a lifelong habit. So it's really important for parents to calmly respond to children and let them know that lying's not okay. But don't punish the child for it. Remain calm and take care of any problems that may have been fixed through the lying. Now, a child's friends are everything to them, but when one of those friends is overcome by a severe and life-threatening illness, the child's world is fractured and they begin to question the world and life as they thought they knew it to be. Coming up after the break, we're going to meet an author who has written a children's book to help any child through this process, from helplessness to unconditional giving. Please stay with me. We'll be right back.